Hey everybody, welcome back to Epicurean Expeditionist, and I got a whole nother meal for you today. Now, a few years ago on a different channel, I made a video about Braciole, which is an Italian dish. It's a chunk of meat, steak, beaten the hell out, rolled up with other stuff inside it, and seared, then braised in tomato sauce. The problem is that traditional recipe is a lot of food. And if you're like me and only cooking for one person, you want to break it down a little bit. So I've actually come up with a variation on that that's more single eater friendly and likes to play with the flavor a little bit. So come on along today. I'm going to take you through how we do all this, and we're going to make some good food because why? Food is life. Life is good. Let's eat some more. Okay, let's drop on down and get started. Okay, let's start with our tomato sauce that we're going to be simmering on the stove here. If you have the time to make yourself a sauce from scratch, obviously that is the preferred method. However, if you are short for time and just working with what's in your pantry, you can use a jar sauce. That's what I've got in here right now, is some jar sauce, a little bit of water, and we're going to get this simmering away. But we're also not going to leave it as is because God knows jar sauces are passable, but they're not the best. So I have in here about 2/3 of a jar of sauce and not quite 1/3 of a jar of water. And I'm going to add some seasoning mix to that. I have my seasoning mix I keep here. This is pink peppercorn, sea salt, Montero Sofrito mix, lemon pepper, a little bit of chili powder, and a little bit of mustard powder. And oh, you know what? Probably should see where I'm at to start with. I did use this the other day, so I do know what the flavor profile is, but we're doing this the right way. Kind of boring. So I'm just going to add some of my seasoning mix in here. That's about right. And we're going to let this simmer, because we want this ready to go when the meat's ready. Stir all that in, and we're just going to let this sit here and simmer. Okay, give me just a minute. We'll flip to the next step. Okay, on to the next step. Now I have here a couple of chuck steaks that I pulled out of the freezer. Drawback to freezing them is sometimes they come out looking not like you see them at the grocery store. But that's okay. It's still good. I'm going to pop one of these into my Ziploc. Here's the first step. Now, if you have a meat mallet or meat tenderizer, that works fine. Personally, I like the rolling pin. It works, it gets out my frustration. Life is better afterwards. My neighbors hate me sometimes. I want to get this as thin as possible, so I'm just kind of feeling where the high spots are, if there are any. There we go. Now, for comparison's sake, this versus this. Oops, there we go. Sorry about that. That's what you're doing here. You're really getting that flattened out and increasing your real estate there. Let me get this out of the bag here, get her back on the cutting board. Okay, and number 2. Here we go, number 2. And again, the point of this is getting it as thin as you possibly can. It helps it cook better, it gives you a more tender result, and overall, it's just good. Now, if you have a meat hammer for tenderizing, do not use the spiky side. That's just going to make a mess. Use the flat side. I like this because it's flat, it's consistent, and it's easy to work with. Okay, there we go. Got it all pounded out. Put my rolling pin away. Now, once you have your meat pounded out, extra piece there, we're going to start adding to it. First thing we're going to do, where'd my seasoning go? I'm going to take that same seasoning mix, a little bit on here. Oh, there's garlic in there too. Sorry, I knew I forgot something. Just a little bit on there. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put down some breadcrumbs. Now, typically I would just use Italian style breadcrumbs, but because I want to bump this up a couple notches, I'm actually using crumbs made from crushed taco flavored Doritos. Yes. And some people will put prosciutto in here. Not in my budget today. So you know what, we're making it a little different, but good. So we've got our crumb on here. Now a traditional uses red currants. I like me some pineapple. So I have some thin shaved pineapple here that I'm going to put on here. There we go. And I'm going to top that with some shaved Parmesan cheese. Why? Because the flavor is amazing. And I would normally put Parmesan cheese on this anyway. So, add that in. Okay, now, the fun part. We're going to start at the narrower end, and we're going to roll this up. Not like a burrito, more like a fruit roll-up. And bam, we have our little mini Braciole inspired roll there. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one and get my sauce back on track, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, now back to what I almost forgot. To not make it super plain, I have some bacon. It's frozen at the moment, but it's cut into essentially what's going to be lardons, and I'm going to render this down. The bacon itself is going to end up going into the sauce, and you'll see how we use the rendered fat after the fact. So I've got this pan on a medium-high heat right now. Some people don't like to cook bacon from frozen, but when you're in a rush or you forget something, it can be done. You just want to keep it moving so it doesn't burn. There we go. I know it looks kind of funny, but as it defrosts and starts to cook, you will see it come out. And I'll tell you, having done this more than once, it actually comes out really good. This is just not the best pan for this. So, a Braciole, if you make it in the traditional fashion, has prosciutto, breadcrumbs, red currants, and Parmesan cheese. Sorry, I couldn't remember my cheese name for a minute. And it is rolled up. It can be rolled up in small ones like this, but generally is rolled up in a single large roll. The last time I made a big one for family, I used flank steak, and it was absolutely amazing. This is something that I grew up with. My dad's parents were from Italy, referred to as off the boat. And for anybody that doesn't know, there's so many Italians named Tony because they were stamped with 2 New York on their head, T-O-N-Y. Okay, bad joke, I know, but I'm Italian, I can say that. But I'll tell you, I have some amazing memories growing up, sitting in my grandparents' kitchen while my grandmother cooked the Sunday dinner. And I'll tell you, that woman, she didn't have a recipe book, because if she did, I would have grabbed that. Everything was in her head. She knew all of her recipes. She knew exactly what went in what. And she also rarely used measuring cups. There was always some of this and some of that. That's how she cooked. And I'll tell you, some of the best dang food you could ever ask for. There we go. You notice how our bacon is breaking up now? There we go. There we are, all nice and broken up. It's going to give me some nice little lardons there to work with. We're going to cook this down, and we'll be back when it's all set. Okay, while we're waiting for our bacon to finish cooking down. Beautiful. Our sauce is on a low simmer right now just to keep it warm. until we add the bacon in. And that's almost there, so we'll be right back when that's set. Okay, our lardons are just about done here. We're pretty close. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. So what I'm going to do is keep the rendered fat in the pan and just scoop out the bacon itself, drop that into my sauce over there. Now, one thing I will mention is that traditionally when you do a braciole, the meat rolls are tied with butcher's twine. I had about 2 inches of twine left and didn't realize it. So today that's not happening, but we're going to make it work because that's what we do here. We make good food and we make it work. And we're going to basically sear the outside. And using the bacon grease, the rendered bacon fat, actually adds a whole other level of flavor to this. So we just want to basically leave this long enough to sear each side of this. Anyway, okay, outside is seared. I'm going to pop it right into the pan with the sauce and onto the next one. Just let that sear. I guess I am going to let you sit through the whole thing because that one got aborted. Sear, sear, sear. Oops, little piece of bacon. There we go. Get that really nice sear on there. You can see that. Nice, starting to caramelize a little bit. Remember, folks, there's a big difference between caramelize and carbonize, but it's a very small difference in how much heat is applied between the two. I'm going to turn my heat off, pop this one out and into the sauce. Put that to the side. Okay, now we're going to bring our sauce in. So these guys are surrounded. That's a yummy, yummy sauce there. Now, I have my oven set for 350. I started that preheating before I started this. What we are going to do is, as I do not have a cover large enough for that, we have parchment paper. One thing I learned over the years is how to make do with what you've got. So I'm putting that on as a light cover. We're going to pop this in the oven at 350. There we go. There. And that is going to stay in for anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. Around 20 minutes, I'm going to check the temperature. I want to get it to an internal temperature of 165. Make sure it's cooked all the way through. So I'm going to let that sit, set a timer, and we'll be back when I check the temperature. Okay, let's take a look at what our temperature's at. Ooh, that's looking good. On. Get right into the middle there. Oh yeah, we are definitely. Oh yeah, so we're almost to 200, so that means we are definitely where we need to be. Again, with only doing the 2 of them, it goes a little bit quicker. That's why I checked it at 20 minutes. But that is cooked all the way through. Give me just a minute, and we'll pop back up top to finish it up here. Okay, now we're going to plate this up. We're going to take, that was hot, dumbass, I admit it. Put that right in the plate. Grab a, you know what, that'll work. Take some of my sauce mix here, my bacon sauce. Put it alongside it. And yes, the other one will get put to good use too, don't worry. We're going to get to that in a minute. To finish this off, I like to take some of my crumb mixture, just right over the top. It's just that little extra pop of flavor. So there we are. Now, the reason I haven't pulled the other one out yet is we're going to take this one out right now. Pop her here. What I'm going to do is give you guys the cross section here. Right down through the middle. And that is your cross section. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. Give me a minute to finish this up. I'll be right back with you. So here we are. My Braciole inspired dish for 1 or 2. I had to eat another piece of that one. It was really good. Understand that when I do stuff like this, yes, we all need to eat. We get that. We got to fuel the body. But it's also about the flavor experience, because you can't enjoy the food that you need to fuel your body. What's the point? It's all about the enjoyment. Now, I know you guys look at me kind of funny, like, dude, you're going to be a chef. You don't want people to eat out? No, eat out. But if you take one night a week and do a home-cooked meal, get your family, your friends, maybe some people who aren't friends yet or friends you haven't met yet, get them all around your table, put some amazing food out there, have a good time with it, have fun, put that passion into that food, and you will create an experience based on flavors, based on companionship. We are a social species, and eating together, that communal meal, that food sharing, that just brings those bonds closer together. It allows us to explore ideas and concepts we might not normally look at. Conversation over food is more relaxed. People are less likely to get uptight. You're more likely to have a slightly more open mind about certain things. That's why I always encourage people to sit down with a wide variety of people over food. You never know what you're going to learn, what new friends you'll make, or just how much your horizons will expand. And it can be pretty interesting. There is a whole world out there we have yet to experience, most of us. This is the way to start, though. Start by experiencing what's around you, who's around you, and go from there. Remember, food is life, life is good. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, whatever platform this happens to be on, follow along for the ride, because we're going to have a lot of fun. Another couple of months, there's going to be some absolutely top-notch content coming. I guarantee we're going to have some fun with that. So until next time, though, I love you all. Have some good food, make some good memories, make some new friends, and I'll catch you next time.